Welcome to the Mega Podcast, where we delve into the inspiring stories of entrepreneurs, motivational coaches, and business leaders. Join us as we hear about their journey to success and the challenges they faced along the way. We'll uncover their secrets to perseverance and determination and gain valuable insights into what it takes to reach your goals. The journey may not be beautiful, but it is always purposeful. So sit back, relax, and be ready to be inspired by those who have dared to dream big and make it a reality. Hello, everybody. Mi gente. Welcome to a brand new Mega podcast. A.M.P. I'm your host, Mega. Today we have a fantastic guest straight up from Podmatch. A big shout out to the other Alex. All right, from Podmatch. Thank you for this wonderful connection. Today, folks, we have a serial entrepreneur. That's right. You heard it right. Serial entrepreneur. My man be opening up businesses left and right and murdering the scene. He is an author and a keynote speaker, baby. Let me introduce the one, the only Mr. Matt Shoup.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
I love the intro. Better now with that intro.
Yeah, man, we got to wake up, baby, because it's a wonderful world. It's a wonderful day. We're here talking and live and blessing people, sharing knowledge. It's a wonderful thing and a wonderful day.
Love it.
So Matt, give me a bit of your origin story, brother. Thank you for coming and any origin story. Where you originally from? And I would like to know, before we get into origins of entrepreneurship, I'm sure you had a fandom when you were young. So give me an origin of a fandom, things that sparked your interest as a kid.
Yeah, so I grew up in New Jersey till I was 10. And
Jersey boy, all right.
Yeah, and we moved out to Colorado. And growing up, I actually wasn't into sports. I got bullied a lot. I got picked on a lot. I actually ran around with a group of kids that now today, 80% of them, they're dead, in prison, or disappeared. So that's the direction that I would have been heading in. But like back in the day, what I absolutely loved, what I would escape to was WWF Pro Wrestling. So like those guys, God, yes. So me and my buddy from Jersey, Chris Surrey, is a buddy I still talk to this day. We would watch the Saturday morning and talk about it on Monday at school. We'd macho man elbow off the desk. So I was getting kicked out of school a lot. I was really smart and really brilliant, and they didn't keep me busy enough. So I got in trouble. So I got labeled as a troublemaker.
You know what they say about idle hands?
Oh yeah, yeah. And then I'm getting ass kickings on the playground, right? From like and I didn't know. I didn't have the tools how to defend myself. So I was scared growing up. And we'll get to the business story, but the business for me ended up being something that gave me some certainty, some validation, and acceptance as a kid. When I started my first business, and it was just kind of out of a, hey, mom and dad, I want a boom box. They said, go find a way to make money. I started cutting the neighbor's grass. So business kind of came out of my need as a kid to fit into something, because I was always an outcast and always labeled as things that, hey, you're going to be a troublemaker. You're going to be dead. I know. They said, sit down, shut up. Now I get paid to speak. So it's fun to come back to it, but that's how it started. Yeah, that's how it started. And anybody listening to this, if you've come from that or somebody's told you that, that doesn't mean that needs to be your story.
Well, I know that you have a jiu-jitsu black belt, Brazilian jiu-jitsu at that. Were those the early origins that inspired you to, take those type of martial arts classes?
Yeah. So really, like, I was catching ass whoopings till about middle school, high school.
Wow.
And
Colorado is that bad?
Not as bad as the Jersey ones. I mean, there was this one girl in Jersey. She'd come up, she'd slap my face, spit in me every day. It was daily. She never missed a beat Monday through Friday. And I didn't know what to do. And it didn't get any better in Colorado, but I'd say that the Colorado bullying was not as severe as the New Jersey bullying. But point is, I still got bullied. So I would escape to business. I would go make money, and then I would just go find out a way to get good grades in school so I could get through it, so I could get out of there as fast as possible to go work and make money. So that's really what I did. And jiu-jitsu didn't come along till I was about 26, 27.
Oh, wow. Much later than in your life. Okay.
Yeah. So what happened was, because of all that bullying, like you're gonna find certainty and purpose in something, and you're gonna respond a certain way. So I would just run and cower. Then I started like lifting weights in high school, getting big and strong, and then posture up whenever somebody would step to me. And then one weekend I was out drinking with a group of friends, and I said the wrong thing to the wrong guys, and got jumped down in Denver. And I kind of said some things though. So I called them out, and they called me on my call out. They put their cards down and gave me what they gave me. So yeah, I came into
black
jujitsu.
baby.
They did, I'm like, man, you guys got a lot bigger as you started charging towards us after I yelled at you across the street. But yeah, I didn't find jujitsu till I was 26. My wife, Emily, her dad is a longtime martial arts instructor. And he kind of said to me in a real nice way, he's a very kind Christian counselor. And he's like, hey, do you know how to fight? Basically, do you know how to protect my daughter if you're going to marry her? Because I heard about that whooping you took down in Denver.
Oh, wow.
You should go check out, Krav Maga martial arts. So I walked into a jiu-jitsu gym 16 years ago, and I was 200 pounds of meathead and making a lot of money in business. So lots of ego. And they said, hey, all you need to do is just go to that little kid right there, throw him down on his back and choke him, and he'll tap out. Right.
Okay.
Sent me out there, and this kid just grabbed me, did whatever he wanted with me, and repeatedly crying uncle. And I fell in love with the sport though. And I wish I had it 20 years earlier. So now that I teach it to kids, I get to tell these kids, hey, you're not going to you're going to experience the same kind of things that I did, but you're going to have a different set of tools on how to handle it. And I'm giving things to kids that I wish I had as a kid. So it's a cool way to circle back to my story. It's helpful for them, but it's healing for me in a way as well.
That's wonderful, man. Thank you for even doing that, applying yourself like that to give back to the community. Again, that's always a beautiful thing when somebody, goes through something traumatic like that and then always comes full circle and winds up being of service, to the kids in that situation. Fantastic. So, all right, so let's get into this entrepreneurial journey of yours. Talk about what happened, because, from what I understand, you used to be a 9-to-5 or something happened in life, and next thing you know, you did some things and boom. Boom.
Yeah, it really was. So 10 years old, we moved from Jersey to Colorado, and CDs, compact discs, were the new rage, right? So people were buying these compact discs, right? Remember those? And they had the big boom boxes. And a couple of my friends at school wanted one. Their parents bought them one. So I said, hey, mom and dad, can you buy me one? They said, no, those are $200. Do you have $200? I said, no. And I was cutting their grass for like $4 a week.
Well, my gosh, that's the child labor laws.
They were definitely breaking child labor laws. Yeah. And they said, they go, hey, you make $4 a week, so $200, that's a year. Or they said, you can go find a way to make money. And I said, cool. Took the lawnmower, started knocking doors, mowing lawns. So I think I made $2,000 that summer as a 10-year-old, going from 5th to 6th or 6th to 7th. I don't remember.
You're like, look, Ma, now I got 10 radios.
and so I start stashing money. But that was the first time, Al, in life when it was like, hey, I want something. I set my mind to something, and I wasn't told to sit down, shut up, and follow any rules. They just said, figure it out, and they let me figure it out. And then I have this pile of money. So that was my initial introduction and spark of interest in entrepreneurship. And I'd say I was born with that gift of gab to a certain degree, that creativity. So lawn mowing became snow shoveling, peddling candy at school. I got kicked out of school for that, got suspended. So, I jump into this space where somebody should have taken me and said, man, like a business guy should have taken me and given me some mentorship. And they were just like, no, you can't, you got to follow the rules. So I just went 9 to 5 at, high school. I ran sandwich shops and worked at a Chinese restaurant, but I got into college, and then I got recruited my freshman year at Colorado State by a college painting company. They came into a class and said, hey, you want to learn about business and marketing, and you can make some good money, and you get to do it with our money if you're interested in that. And I mean, they were like pinging on all the things I loved. So I filled out a card, went through their recruiting process, and then that summer ran a painting company. So I ran that for 4 years in college, and I made 6 figures over 4 years. And I just share that because I spent twice what I made. I didn't have a problem with making the money. I definitely had a problem with keeping it.
Well, again, those are the mistakes of youth, right?
They are.
That happens. You get it. You want to have a good time. You live in the high life. You're in college. Oh my God!
Good time too.
Hell yeah, brother!
So good.
I can't imagine. So when you realized this was going on, like what was the wake up moment? You said, "Man, what am I doing?"
So what happened was I spent a semester in Spain, my junior year of college, and then I was coming back working.
Why Spain?
I had a Spanish professor. That was my major, so I never took a business class. Child development and family studies, and then Spanish. I wanted to teach and work with kids, which I get to do today. And my Spanish professor, Maria del Mar, she's from Spain, and I'm in a culture class, and she'd return my papers that she graded. We were writing papers about Spanish history and culture, and every time she's like, "You have to come see my country. There's museums," and I'm like, "That stuff's boring." And then one day she said, "There's women and wine and dancing and partying," and I said, "Okay, sign me up," because that's she appealed to where I was at in life. And I literally dropped everything I was doing, Al, and I went over to Spain for a semester, lived with a family.
Wow.
And my Spanish just went off the charts. I mean, I learned more in 4.5 months there than 10 years in school.
Oh no, bro, because you're thrown into it. You have no choice.
No option.
You either, nope. Yeah, bro, it's live or die, baby.
You speak or you don't eat. Yeah, and you figure it out real quick. And it was it's an interesting experience because it really correlates to any kind of leadership business. You're going to push yourself out of your comfort zone, and right on the other side of that, where it gets real uncomfortable, that's where all the growth happens. So many lessons from that. And I come back though to American business life, graduate college, and I said, this painting thing was cool, but it's not sexy. The optics of it, it's dirty. It's in the summer. I'm going to go suit and tie, mortgage banker. Because I saw a guy making a lot of money doing that, and ended up working in a very conservative bank as a mortgage loan officer, being told what to do, when to do it, how to do it, just like in school. And I don't follow rules. And so we didn't get along. Yeah, we did not get along. We weren't having a good time together. But I said, I'll quit, but I'll quit on my own accord. I had my plan to escape on my time, and it was a March Tuesday morning, 2005. New bank president comes in, and everybody was excited to meet him. So he calls me in. And I walk into his office. I go, "Hey, Chad, nice to meet you." And he's in his desk, leaned back. He said, "Go get all your shit and put it in a box and get out. You're fired."
Wow. So not nice to meet you back, huh?
No, I don't even know if he knew my name. Like he was clearing out his P&L. And that's what he told me to do. So I flew him the 2-finger salute. And then as I'm getting ready to leave, he's like, "Oh, maybe you should go back and do that painting thing." He was real condescending, like, "You dirty little painter." And I said, "All right, man, well, maybe I will. And maybe I'll go make $1 million doing it." And I left the bank. And again, because of my upbringing, I had a lot to prove to the world. Everybody was out to get me. So I had these bad patterns from the experiences I had. But standing outside that bank, I literally had all my stuff in a box and a 12-minute drive home. And I had to tell my wife something. I needed to have an answer. So I called the guys I worked with in college painting, and I said, "Hey, do you remember when you told me the bank was going to fire me?" They're like, "Yeah, did they do that today?" I said,
"Oh, man, really?"
I said, "Give me a month." I said, "Give me a month, baby, and we're going to have a bunch of houses to paint." And I think we took down just shy of $500,000 in top line revenue from that Tuesday morning in March to the end of the year. And the painting season in Colorado ends in like mid to late October. So what is that, 6 months?
Wow.
And I mean, I literally, my financial picture of I'm 6 figures in debt and upside down. And I started with, I needed $2,800 in 28 days. I'm driving home from the bank like, shit, I don't have my paycheck anymore. I need $2,800. So I made that like the first 2-3 days of selling and knocking a couple of jobs out. So just things started building from there, but I didn't have a long-term vision. I was just like, let's get by month by month. Okay, now we've got a 3-month runway of money. All right, now we had a really good year. Oh my gosh, who cares about the optics? We locked down a bunch of money, and it changed our financial picture. But again, I was an awful boss, an awful leader, still learning a lot as a man. So just a lot of my lack of working on myself showed up in my business. Okay. And I would share, your business only grows to the degree that you do. And whatever shit you carry, just bad habits, programs, that's going to flow into your business all day long. And it just does. So until you can work on yourself, you're going to have a real hard time being able to work on or lead other people. And I kind of learned that the hard way the first decade of business.
So what steps did you take then to, when you noticed that, okay, maybe I need to do better? What steps did you begin to take to become that better person and better leader that the company needed?
So first it was just realizing it, because I couldn't figure out why nobody wanted to keep working for me. What's their problem? Why are they leaving? It was
what was your turnaround time? What was your turnaround at the office?
A turnaround in terms of
people not wanting to work with you.
so the painting, that the labor in the painting industry is somewhat transient, and there's some
Okay.
seasonality in and out, but just the staff, the long
Okay.
time, estimating. And it was just one of those things where I wasn't a nice guy to work for. I saw you, if you worked for me back in 2005 through 2012, shut up, do your job, make me money. If you don't, you're fired. I
Mm.
saw not people, I saw profit. And that only goes so far. Like, we made great money, but I climbed I'm standing there a millionaire a couple years into business, and I'm at the top of this $1 million mountain looking around, and I didn't bring anybody up with me, and nobody really liked me that much. They were just there for a job. And if they found a better one, they bounced. So a coach called me out on that in 2012.
Mm.
He said, "Hey, you're complaining about the same thing for the 10th time. Maybe it's your problem, and maybe it's you, not those 10
Oh.
people with that same thing." And I'm like, "Huh, you're right." So I
So you
realized it.
gave no pushback at that time. You just said you're right. You gave no pushback, nothing when
To
he
him,
told you that. Yeah, because I'm
I
pretty sure
knew it.
when somebody tells you
Yeah.
that, you're gonna, as a man, you're gonna be, what you mean, But
Mhm.
you understood though. You're
So
saying
so I knew so I knew, and
okay,
I had been
you knew.
working with this guy for a while, and
Okay,
my personality style, I'm very assertive, aggressive, direct. And because of my upbringing, you say something to me, I say something bigger to you, and you either back down or not. That's that posturing of
yeah.
animals in the jungle. But this guy was just a big ex-military, big dude, high level coaching
Mm.
skills. And he's like, "Matt, I am not here to be your friend. You're paying me a lot of money. I'm not going to take any of your shit, and I'm going to call it like it is." And I think my initial response when he said that was, "Screw you. What are you talking about?" But I knew. I came home. I said, "Emily, I can't believe he said this to me." And she just was kind of quiet. I go, "Well, is he right?" She goes, "He's right." So it wasn't
Mm.
just a one time he told me, but
Yeah.
it was coming. It was boiling up. And I just, at one point, I just said, I've got to really come back down this mountain and bring people up in front of me and with me and alongside me. And I really shifted from the profit over people, and then started putting people over profit, and just focusing on investing in myself and growing myself, and then pouring those lessons into other people.
Beautiful. And now, how do you feel, with that type of turnaround? What type of changes did you see in the business, as your attitude changed, if you
Well,
will?
the fear was like, "What do you mean? So I got to stop focusing on making the money and get all touchy feely with people and ask them about their vision and their goals and their dreams?" I'm like, "That's weird." I go, "That," and what surprisingly happens when you do that is you make a lot more money. So I say, when you focus on the profit, the people will run. When you focus on the people, the profit will come. So that was a
Oh,
shift in mindset for me, and it was weird. It's like any new habit, you're laying down a new trail. So it was just different. It was weird. It was uncomfortable, but the people started responding better. So when,
that's
and I'm not perfect, so I'd go from getting angry 100% of the time to getting angry 90% of the time, and people would notice that. And then 80% of the time, and
okay.
I still had something a couple hours ago, I popped off a little bit, but people started seeing that and recognizing that. So when I made that decision, I said, "Hey, this is where we're going. This is what I'm working on within myself." And some people said, "Matt, I believe in you. I'm going to hang around." Some people said, "Nah, I've had enough, and I don't think it's going to happen." So it really set the stage of where everybody was going to go from there. And what started happening is I started attracting higher caliber, higher quality people that were interested in growing themselves. And as I continued to develop, I started attracting people to that degree that had and wanted to develop as well.
Awesome.
So you'll
Awesome.
you'll attract exactly where you're at in business as well.
So with that first business, how did that go? Because I understand, serial entrepreneur, you're opening multiple. So
Yeah.
what inspired the growth? Was that before that lesson or after the lesson in life that you
Yeah,
began to grow?
really good question. So, like, chronologically, I opened my painting company, M&D Painting. That was 2005, and by 2009, we're a multi-million dollar company. So we hit a million in 3 years, multi-million in five, and then in
Excellent.
2010, we got kicked off of a paint job. Me and my buddy Dave Sword, because we promised a customer that we could fix this knockdown texture, and we tried to use a spray can, and those things are garbage. So we didn't want to spend the $200 on a drywall company to come
Yeah.
out. So she fires us, and we're at a burrito shop in Loveland, Colorado, just licking our wounds. Can't believe we got kicked off this job. And my buddy Dave starts sketching on a napkin this little design. And he said, if we could build something like this that we could put on the wall and then spread the texture, peel it off, we would not, this would, and I look at it, I go, damn, that's right. I go, if you could build this thing, we could sell this thing. So he went out and built it, and then we patented it. It's called the Pirate Patch, knockdown textures, the drywall, Pirate Patch drywall repair tool. It's on Amazon. And that business started as an idea on a napkin at a burrito restaurant in Loveland, Colorado. And we invested, from 2010 to 2018, 19, we were dumping money in. We were in the big chain stores, losing money. We pushed all online. And then all of a sudden we took a really nice big distribution check almost 10 years later. And it was one of those things where everybody said you couldn't do it. And we just said, you know what, we're going to make it work. And just two regular dudes from Loveland that made something happen.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And I love that fact. Again, 10 years, right after the fact. See, this is, again, success is never overnight. It's a heck of a journey, to try to get, to where you need to get. And then also recognizing one's deficiencies to become a better leader. Like Matt here, noticing that. Awesome. So once you did that, how did the journey then just continue and that education of self?
Yeah. So as this business is launching and the painting business is going, then I get asked to come speak at a Rotary Club and, about marketing, right? Because I loved creative marketing. So these guys call, hey, come talk about your sign spinner, and we're seeing you everywhere. So like I always got told to shut up. I never got asked to come speak anywhere. So the speaking thing starts like this, 2009, 10, right around there. Hey, can you come to Rotary and come talk? And then, people would call, hey, can I take you to coffee and pick your brain? Like, yeah, no one, like, you want to buy me coffee? Like, sure, I love coffee. Yeah. Buy me coffee all day. So I come home every day. I'm like, Emily, this guy bought me coffee, and I talked to him about marketing, and then he went and did it, and it worked. And then coffee turned into lunch, like a Subway sandwich. And then it turned into like the nice sit down lunch. And then it was steak dinner. And I came home one night and Emily goes, maybe you should start charging people. You're obviously bringing them value. So the sit downs then turned into come speak here, come speak there. And I realized I made the number one cardinal sin as a speaker. And if you're a speaker and you do this, is when somebody says, if Al, you say you're a speaker, and I say, Al, I've got an event. Here's the event. What is your fee? And you go, you're not a speaker. So and it's true, or you're not going to get paid as a speaker. So I remember the first time somebody said, what is your fee? And I said, my what? Your honorarium. You're, huh? You're what? I couldn't even believe it. Yeah.
You want to pay me to talk?
Yeah,
wait a minute.
Yeah. And now it's 5,000 if I'm local, 10,000 if I'm here, 25,000 if I'm.
Oh, you figured out that schedule quick, huh?
Yeah, but I didn't know this. So I think I don't want to say people took advantage of it. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but I didn't know. But I really just cut my teeth going out and sharing these stories about the business growth. And then that turned into real estate, which turned into the jiu-jitsu school. And now I've got, the couple of books out, and I'm taking business owners on leadership adventures to Spain. So I wrote a leadership program, and we're going in September. I'm taking a crew to hike part of the Camino up north. And then next May, we're doing like an adventure immersion experience kind of in central and southern Spain.
I find that funny because you said that when your teacher tried to convince you initially, it was no, then party life, yes, and now in business life, you're taking people there.
It's so cool. Like, I can tell as we speak, like you love this. This you love what you're doing. This is your passion. I mean, I have business, leadership, Spain. People have combined all these passions, and just the fact, like all the crew that's coming in September, they all paid their final invoice, right? Like the deadline was this week, and all this money's coming in. And I'm like, what? I go, like 20 years ago, I didn't even know where Spain was. And then I went, and then I paid to take our team there last year to kind of pilot this program. And now people are paying me to go do something I love. It's just really cool that we get to wake up and do stuff like this every day. Yeah.
And talk about, here goes this awesome website, folks. I've been showing it off.
Thank you.
You know what it is right there. Build your business, advance your leadership. I mean, it's books, it's, things that he's talking about, teaching you to be a better leader, all this good stuff. So my brother, talk to me about these books. What was it like for you to pen your first book?
I'm going to grab it. So it was an interesting experience. The first book, very similar to where I didn't understand what it meant to be a speaker, right? Okay. I didn't really understand what it meant to be an author. I just did this one. This is a great book, Become an Award-Winning Company. It's a simple system and process to help business owners win business awards and then leverage those business awards to get free marketing exposure. But I actually wrote this book out of a request for me to speak. I had one speaking topic that I talked about at the time. And the event planner said, well, you need to have two. I said, well, I only have one. I have this one. She goes, well, if you want a chance to speak and get paid, because now you finally are asking to get paid, you need two topics. And I go, well, how about how to win business awards? And she goes, oh, that sounds great. Speak on that. I said, shit, I don't, so I outline and I sit down and I think I sat down from May of 2011 until Thanksgiving. I covered this and I interviewed entrepreneurs from all over the world, Dave Ramsey, Kurt Richardson of OtterBox. So these big multi-million dollar companies down to, a gentleman who makes board games out of his garage that all won business awards and how they did it and how it benefited their company. And then I thought because I wrote it, it would just sell. And that's not the case. So writing the book was the easy part. Selling it is where all the work comes in. And I wrote that in 2011, and then I took about a 10-year break, and then Painted Baby actually just came out this year.
So hey, Painted look Baby, at that baby! Right there. Another one. Hey, there we go. Painted Baby. Love the art on the cover.
So the premise of that book is that we are conditioned to paint a picture of perfection in our business, in our life, in our leadership. And we're always putting our best, most perfect foot forward. And at the end of the day, that actually prevents us from connecting with people. And we truly connect with people when we're vulnerable. And then we share our mistakes and we share our screw ups. And we actually had a paint sprayer blow up on a job site and painted a baby. And I was forced to tell this story in a sales engagement where the customer's not signing. He's not signing the contract. It's the biggest deal that I've ever closed in my life. And he said, hey, knock off all the shiny marketing crap. He threw the brochure across the desk and said, tell me about a time you screwed up and what you did about it. So I said, well, we painted a baby. You want to hear about that? Oh my gosh. I can't believe I said that. So I told him and he's engaged and he said, what did you do? He goes, that's a real bad day, So he said, what did you do about it? I told him how we handled it. And he goes, you're the kind of guy I want to do business with. Shook my hand, signed a deal that was 20 times the size of my average deal at the time. And it was a game changer for the business. So I said, hold on, we're taught to, feature, benefit, A+, 5-star, shiny marketing brochure, and paint this picture of perfection. This guy just closed the biggest deal that I've ever done because I shared when I screwed up. So then I went and I tested and experimented sharing this story. And then I went out and interviewed lots of business owners that have done the same. So this book is a process about how to tell a story, why you should tell your story, and why you should tell your imperfect story, and then how to actually capture, craft, and communicate that message. And it's a very loving call out to say, hey, the way you're doing things right now, they could be working, but they're not working as well as they could. So it's a challenge to consider changing the story that you're telling people.
Yeah, folks, the truth right there. You know what? I think these books are right up my alley. I think I need to pick these bad boys up myself, for real. Fantastic. And folks, again, you see, and if you want your copies, go visit the website. And these are available also at your local bookshop and Amazon. Am I assuming correct?
Yeah. So Amazon's going to have hardcover, paperback, Kindle, and the Audible. So the first one I didn't do with the Audible. Painted Baby, I read my own Audible and actually just launched a couple weeks ago. And I was really pleased with it. Yeah, I really got into.
How was that process?
Audible.
Doing it,
it was crazy.
Did you have fun?
No, it was. Well, it was funny because the company, the publishing company that I worked with said, hey, when you do your Audible, here's a list of like voice actors. Take a listen to some samples of them. And I go, I'm not letting a voice actor read my book. It's my book. I have so much respect for, I don't know if you've heard of Mike Michalowicz. He's a very successful, well-known business author. Mm-hmm. He's become a great friend of mine, but he reads his own books. Okay. And I know Mike, so you read his book, you listen to the Audible, you get the whole experience of Mike. And so I just thought it would be
50 Cent. I read his entrepreneur. Okay. I heard his entrepreneurial book, and it was him. I was like, okay, that's dope.
Well, it's like I couldn't imagine like my friends and the people that know me and that come listen on the podcast. They go get the Audible, and you're reading it. Like, you got a great voice, you've got great energy, but you're not me, and I'm not going to read your book.
I mean, they'd be more surprised if it was Morgan Freeman reading your book. What's going on here?
If I had to pick, and I said if I had to pick, I'd pick these guys. So yeah, so against their recommendation, which I appreciate, right? Because they want to make sure that they said, you're not a professional voice actor. I said, but the book's about being imperfect. And I'm okay with that. And I stood in a studio, a square room with high, and literally you read it off the screen and you screwed up here, got to go back. And I literally read this 200-page book probably 18 times by the time and you send it all to them and they cut it and then you come back for like callbacks. It was really fun. Like I really enjoyed the process, and I'm real hard on myself, but I was also really pleased with this, and the people that are listening to it and receiving it, they're also giving me some wonderful feedback on it.
Awesome. There we go.
Yeah.
Matt doing it up, taking the business into his own hands right there, doing the audibles, reading his own book, telling you, hearing it from the man himself. That's wonderful. Again, that's the best energy you could get, when you hear it straight from the author. Now, before we go, just two more things. I need to know. You keep picking up this cup. You said it's coffee. It doesn't look like any coffee that I've ever seen. What is that?
So it's Spanish coffee. And they don't make coffee beans in Spain. It's not coffee from Spain. But when I lived in Spain, the first time I drank coffee, right, I'm sitting at my host dad's house and he puts this espresso boiler down. He said, "You want some coffee?" And I said, "Sure." So I pour this big glass and then I put a little bit of milk in it. He goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "That's not how you drink coffee here." He goes, "You just want a little bit of coffee and then more milk." And I go, no. In America, we drink our coffee like this. You don't tell me what to do, right? I was America. So I'm pouring the coffee and he's like, "You sure?" And he goes, "Vale. Okay, Matt, vale. You go ahead.
I know Vale. Oh, when you hear Vale, you know something's up. Like you just look at
toma tu café como tú quieras. And he says, so I drink the coffee and then, 30 minutes later, to the bathroom. But so café con leche, it's a couple shots of espresso, some steamed whole milk. It's in between a cortado and a latte, right? So from the ratio of milk to coffee. So I love just sharing Spanish culture. I cook paella dinners for family, for friends. And every time I go to Spain, I bring a suitcase full of coffee back to share with my friends and drink myself. And then those became closing gifts and, business marketing. And during COVID, I'm realizing like I'm bringing back suitcases of coffee. Friend is shipping me coffee. And then all that stops. And I'm like, we got to figure out where these beans come from and roast our own and then start serving it here. We have a little coffee bar. It's Cafe Sevilla. And we basically set up a free coffee bar for the community. So if we invite you out, you can come in, get a free coffee, Spanish hot chocolate. And I bring hot chocolate and things back from Spain. Yeah, I'll give you the video tour when I'm done. I'll send it over to you. And and then I never wanted to have a coffee shop. Somebody said, "Well, how much is it?" I said, "It's free. It's like, we just want to love on you and hang out and share something I love." And he goes, "Well, do something with this $20. And he throws $20 in this cup that I drank beer out of at the bar in Spain. I had it up because it's a nice looking cup. And I'm like, I go, you know what we could do? We could take all that money and give it to the scholarship that we have. We started a scholarship at CSU to send students to Spain. So if you go back to the website there, the mattshoup.com, so Cafe Sevilla, it exists to show love to others by sharing coffee with them.
Is that the area here?
Bar. No, the top toolbar. If you go to the top right next to the free tools at the very top, click on that and go check it out offline. There's like a 10-minute little mini documentary. So yeah, you come in and
look at that right there. Is that you pouring that? Is that you pouring?
That's me. I pour my own coffee right there. That's no actor right there. So yeah, people come in and it's this story of just how all of these dots connect, right? Between Maria Del Mar's story and these are some of the students that have won our scholarship. So yeah, people come in and they get a good cup of coffee and then they get to donate to a good cause. And it's grown. We're actually gonna send our 19th. Next Thursday, my wife and I are heading up to CSU. We're gonna send our 19th student over. We just had our 19th student get awarded that. So yeah, really cool.
You're amazing, man. You are so awesome. You and the family there giving to the community like that. That's amazing. We need more people like you in the world. You know what I'm saying?
You, man.
See, these are the type of people that I like to talk to. You see, there's so much good in the world, folks. Don't let social media fool you. There's so much good in the world. You know what I mean?
And I see, everything in the world, no matter what topic you pick, right? Whether it's politics, religion, like everything's so polarized. And so like I've made a bunch of money, right? And I do that because I need to pay for my needs. And then I have a lifestyle that we want to live, that we like to live. There's nothing wrong with that. but then we have this overflow, right? Like I want this cup to be overflowing, not so dude, I drive a Honda Accord. We drive Hondas. I like to vacation. That's my thing that I do. But we want to make more money so we can give more money. We want to send more students to Spain. We want to do really big stuff for the community. And that's what this is all about. Like you don't get to take any of this stuff with you, but the stories that we'll leave behind that these kids. So here's the full circle, right? So 6 years into our scholarship, this girl calls us who received the scholarship year one. And now she came back. She's a successful CPA. And she goes, hey, I'm in town. I wanted to stop by. I'm like, well, come by. We'll cook Spanish dinner. So we're sitting there at dinner and she's like, hey, this changed my life. And I'm making some good money now. So she goes, I want to donate to the scholarship. And I'm like, holy cow.
Oh, wow.
The person that got it is coming back and, donating to it. So Beautiful. It's just super wild. And Maria
Alumni, right?
Yeah, like Spanish professor Maria Del Mar, she's in the scholarship video there. That second video down, we just laughed because I saw her a couple months ago and I'm like, it's all your fault. I tell her that. I go, this is all your fault. And she walks in and she goes, I can't believe my little suggestion to you 22 years ago turned into this. So, if you're listening to this, who's nudging you right now? Who are you nudging? Hoping that they'll make a decision. Like keep nudging. So I'd say keep nudging. And if you're getting nudged, maybe you should think about why that person's nudging you and take action on it. Because it could be your Cafe Sevilla 20 years from now or whatever that is. And that's what this is all about at the end of the day, right? This business life leadership, just people serving and connecting with other people's stories.
Yeah, I believe very much that God sometimes sends people or messages your way and you got to just pay attention. So those nudges could be God's way of speaking to you. So pay attention, people.
Oh, yeah.
Wake up.
I didn't listen to him. I didn't listen to him for a long time. I started listening to him after I got, not technically, I was handcuffed, put into the back of a police car. And should have gone to jail, but the officer took me home and he told me, he talked about God a little bit in a really unique way with some police talk. And I said, interesting. And that, I found Jesus in the back of a police car when I should have been dead in a field on New Year's Eve when I was 19.
Wow.
And that was after a semester of had been dead every weekend from just drugs and drinking and Vegas and partying and blacking out. So, yeah, I mean, again, on paper, back to what I opened with, there's a lot of choices I made to where I shouldn't be here sharing this story with you on this podcast. So yeah, God was definitely watching out for me. And I need to see things in a certain way. I don't see or receive things in the traditional or do things in the conventional way. So it took back of a police car, handcuffs, and this cop just doing cop talk. But I felt this love in a certain way that nobody else could really get through to me with. So
it was an authority figure since based on your behavior, I think, not having that type of authority, not respecting it, but, being in a situation where, okay, my hands are tied and this homie is talking to me. Well, let me listen.
Well, and I tell people, I go, he had the position, power, authority, control, the badge. He had every right to judge me, punish me, take me to jail. And he just said, hey, I'm real busy picking up drunk kids. I go, you know what? You seem like a good guy. Let me drive. If you're not that drunk that you know how to get home, I'll take you home. And that was his gauge. If I could speak to him where I live, and then I'm not going to die from drinking. So yeah, took me home and he goes, hey, just think about the choices you're making. I'm sure people would miss you if you were gone. And, I've seen that happen to other people. Happy New Year. And then he uncuffed the cuffs and sent me on my way. And
Happy New Year indeed.
Then I had about a 2-week period where I was really struggling with, but saying, do I want to give my life to God? Is this Jesus guy that I've been hearing about in real poor ways from people not doing it very correctly? But there's those people that stuck by me. I said, is this for real? And then I read Lee Strobel's book, Case for Faith, Case for Christ, during that 2-week period. And I actually had a chance to shake his hand and meet him about a month ago. And I told him, I said, book during that time was what sealed the deal for me. So I got to tell him that, right to his face. That was super cool, So yeah, just talking about that definitely was not meant to be going to jail or dead in a field somewhere. It's not the story that was made for me.
Yep, definitely not. Because look where you are today. Amazing. Last question, homie. Here is, if anyone wants to get on the road to success today, where should they begin?
Take the first step, whatever it is. Every journey begins with the first step. So, if you like what I have to say, the first step with me is go hit those free tools. If you've got something, there's so many first steps you can take. There's so much information out there. There is no reason, there is no excuse to where you can't get whatever you want in life. Now, this isn't some get rich quick. This isn't get rich quick BS. You got to work your ass off for it. Absolutely. But there is no excuse with all of the information out there to make you better. Just take that first step, and it's scary. And it's better to do with somebody than by yourself. This is what this leadership program is, right? It's like stepping on the jiu-jitsu mats, and you're going to get your ass kicked the first couple of years. And put yourself in and under pressure, and just take that first step and reach out to people, ask for help. Yes. Don't, guys, we're so proud. We can't ask for help. We've got to be macho all the time. And that's dangerous. So, and if you don't know who to reach out to me. I love you. I believe in you. You've got this. Go get it.
Wepa, coming from the Matt right there. You heard it here, folks. All right. Please show the support and love. I've been showing you the link. So again, follow Matt everywhere on social, where it's the Instagrams, the Facebooks, YouTube, everywhere. Matt Shoup. All right. And of course, you can also visit the website that I showed you. Check out all the amazing free tools and information at your disposal, at your fingertips, provided by Matt for free, because he has tons of free tools. Take advantage. This is your nudge to, for you to level up and get to greatness. And of course, again, this is what I'm saying. Click the link below for all of those amazing free tools to advance that leadership, build that business. All right. Get to that next step. Matt, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. Thank you for what you're doing. Definitely doing God's work and helping others, man. An incredible journey. Definitely Thanks, inspiring, sir. Brother. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
God bless you, man. Thank you, Al.
Likewise, my brother. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You know what it is. Please follow, turn on the notifications, check us out, talking to amazing people like Matt and more. And also check out my pop culture website, comiccrusaders.com, and the extended family Undercover Capes. All right? Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Keep doing what you do. Wepa!
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the A.M.P podcast. We hope you've enjoyed listening to the insights and stories from our guests. Remember, success is a journey, not a destination. And every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals. Don't give up on your dreams. You keep pushing forward. Until next time, thanks for tuning in and stay motivated.